And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We're connecting now with our friends over on Instagram so they can be in on the party. Then we're going to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live. And if you guys are joining us on the social media platforms, you will see a link that will bring you guys over to Amazon. Would love for you guys to be able to join us there. And we are now live with our friends on Amazon Live. So I want to welcome all of you guys to our program. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, welcome. Glad you could be with us. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. You see it here in this corner or down below. You also will see some of the books. He's written a lot, but the ones that he's currently claiming are in our carousel right now here on Amazon. So I definitely want you guys to grab them because he'll take them down and forget like he didn't write them. But we're talking about Earl Hall. Earl Hall is back with us today, y'all. He's my good friend. He's someone who I'm so excited about. He had an amazing end to 2024. We're going to talk to him about that. He has some great things coming up this year, including the new season of his show, the Earl Hall Show. He also released this book, Mind Your Business, that he did remember writing. And then he re-released this book over here, Aligned with Your Purpose. You guys can see it there too. We'll talk to him about the two books, what it's been like for him to share the messages. And of course, that you guys know how to stay connected with Earl as well. Earl, always a pleasure to speak with you. Thanks again for the time.
Well, thank you for the time. I definitely appreciate it. The pleasure part, we'll see how this goes. Uh, Thank you for that introduction, tongue in cheek as well. And I know this is going to be amazing and fun spending time with you here today. So
I
thank you.
appreciate that. Moses Maddox, Moses, you have my word. I'm saying it here live. You will hear from me today. Moses is joining us over on IG. I met Moses actually in Columbus, Ohio. He's going to he's in the issue of the magazine with you, Earl, that
Oh,
we're going to talk about that at the end of the broadcast. So, Earl, 2024 was a really good year for you. You were part of our program the year that was 2024. But you've already kicked off 2025 in a big way as well. Of course, you've been sharing with the audience, of course, your latest offerings that you're doing and helping with marketing promotion, like your video promos, also what you're doing with AI, but also the two books I mentioned. What has it been like for you as you're starting this new year, Earl? What has it been like for you to kind of think about how you ended 2024?
well, it's already been a busy start to the year. As you repeatedly let us know, last week was the first week of the year for 2025. And it's been busy, but also manageable at the same time. I've been very surprised and very happy with how I've been able to maintain and have a full-time job as a bus operator and
Hmm.
also reignite things that are going on inside of Earl Hall Studio behind some of the things that did happen in 2024, what I had to kind of relaunch and rebrand because of some things that happened professionally. So 2024, especially the end of 2024, was a surprising end to the year because
Okay,
at the beginning of 2024, I did not see it. I
gotcha.
could not have even conceived of it happening the way that it happened. But since October and through the end of 2024, things have literally just taken off. And now it's like I feel like I'm getting close to getting out of the atmosphere and just being able to be in outer space and cruise and kind of just continue to go on without the hindrances that I've had from my past. And that's whether you're, a flat earther or someone that believes the earth is round, whichever you are, it's had to take that little plug there. Had to dig. All
Yeah,
right.
we won't ask Earl which one he's in, but that's such a great point, Earl. And I think you mentioned a couple of things I want to talk about because it's a
Yeah.
great connection to the two books that are here with us.
Mhm.
One, Mind Your Business, which was your new book you released in 2024, became a number one release on Amazon, a bestseller.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the re release of this book, Aligned with Your Purpose. I want to start with this one
Okay.
because I think a lot of what you just mentioned about how the year began for you in 2024 and how it ended
Mhm.
has a lot to do with what you mentioned in both books, and particularly this one, and that's mindset. How has your mindset changed, Earl, to let you know that you can do the things that you want to do?
Well, I think for me, you and I joke a lot about my amazing level of patience that I have for
Mhm.
things, right?
Yeah.
Tongue in cheek. But seeing how much I was able to accomplish in a short amount of time, that mindset had to be changed. The
Mhm.
mindset of it's going to take as long as it takes based on the effort that you put in. and you can't expect things to happen tomorrow. You know, I still do. I still want things. I don't expect things. I still want things to happen tomorrow. But I've come to a point to understand that and have the ability to manage that a lot better than I ever was before. And through the book Align with Your Purpose and Mind Your Business, and talking about the mindset aspects of all of this, it does start with the individual. It starts with me. Now, I know people throw the word mindset around a lot. And I don't know that we fully discuss what it is that it actually means to actually change that mindset to operate in a way that's going to benefit you and change from the way that it used to be. But there definitely has to be a mindset shift.
Yeah. You say something that's really interesting. And I noticed it when I was prepping for this segment with you. And I don't think we've ever talked about it in an interview like this. So it's a great place because that makes for, great conversation.
Yeah.
You talk about your anger. And I love this because I think what is so interesting about what you say, Earl, is that it's something that is relatable for people. But for as a person of faith, it's interesting to hear you write about it. And I want to read a bit of this because I think it's really interesting for people to think about. And I want to ask you about for yourself. It's in chapter 5 of the book. I'm going to highlight it on Amazon for you guys over there. Your feelings or your guide to everything is the title. You say this. Someone close to me recently asked me, do you think bad luck follows you? When we are in a depressed or sad state, it is easy to think along these lines. We look at our lives or compare our lives to others and wonder what is wrong with me. There was a time in my life that I was very bitter about my life. I was actually in a 3-year-long depression and didn't know it. I was running a very successful technology services firm in the engineering sector. Because of some decisions that I did not control, even though I was one of the owners, the business failed. A business that I had started all on my own came to an abrupt end because I made the decision to take on partners that were offering me a bunch of money. What I had to realize is that even though it failed, I had to take ownership of it all because I made those decisions. Our feelings about a thing will cause more of those same feelings to manifest in our life. If you are experiencing feelings of joy, happiness, and satisfaction, you will receive things that continue to perpetrate those same types of feelings. Also, and this is the point, if you are experiencing feelings of anger, sadness, and lack, you will manifest those same types of feelings in your life. Now, I want to talk about the 2025, Earl. When you hear those words and you think, how does that reminder and warning, how does that kind of shape the way you look at this year?
Well, this is the way that it shapes it, because as I wrote that so many years ago and was dealing with those situations, coming out of that after realizing that I was going through depression because of loss, and what happens, that anger came because I was angry at them for what they did to my company. When I got my power back and I understood how to get my power back, it was because I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, no, you did it. If we continue to blame people on the outside, then we never actually take control. They control it, right? Not you, not me. But when I decided to take the power back, I had to take the ownership of it and say, none of that would have happened if I didn't make the decisions that I made to go through. And so when I look at this in 2025, it's how I'm seeing things moving forward. What are the decisions that I'm making? Why am I deciding to do this? You and I talk a lot, and we mentioned the Matrix and the Oracle. It's like, why did you make that decision? Or it's like, you've already decided. Now you have to understand why you made the decision to do that. And if you take ownership of the good, you daggone sure better take ownership of the bad.
Yeah. And it's an interesting connection to what I read there is what's in your new book, Mind Your Business. Moses says, I love the titles. Moses, yeah, they are some good titles, but you can't brag on Earl too. Take it and run with it. But for those who are just
thank you, Moses.
You're watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live, but we are simulcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. If you guys have any questions or comments for Earl, make sure you guys put those in the chat. I'm monitoring those. Also, of course, if you have not gotten your copies of either one of these books, definitely make sure you guys head over to Amazon. You'll find them here on the Amazon side. But also, if you guys are not joining us on Amazon, there's an Amazon link that'll bring you over. You write this in the book, Mind Your Business, and it's in an interesting connection because for a lot of people, Earl, because of past experiences, that stops them in their tracks. You write about in this book, you're talking about one thing in particular, but it ties into so many things. And the subheading is Overcoming the Fear of Starting. It's on page 37 for those who have the print edition. You say, you're talking about starting a podcast, ironically. And you say, for many, starting a podcast can be daunting, not necessarily because of the technology involved, but due to the vulnerability of putting oneself out there. Some creators worry about being judged by their technical setup, their choice of topics, or even the sound of their voice. However, this fear often boils down to a fear of imperfection. I bring that up because of a big thing that you did in 2024, and that is to take the guard down and really let people know where you were about your working a full-time job and being vulnerable about that. What was that like for you to take your own advice and apply your own principles?
Well, once I did it, it was done. Now I have to admit, I mean, it was through your encouragement that I did that. But we've had so many conversations over the years about just being upfront with who it is that you are. And I think with the online, and I'm going to call them personas, online personas that people have are just that. It's not necessarily all about the real. I mean, have been successful in business for years.
Yeah.
Beginning of 2024, all that changed. And I had to remap out my life. And I had to go back and get a full-time job. That for most people is embarrassing. But I remember through the conversation I've had with you, I had with my wife, and things like that. It's like these are the things that make people relate to you. Because everybody goes through these issues and everybody goes through these problems, but we don't talk about them because of fear of what others may think, what others may say. And at the end of the day, none of those opinions matter, because the first time that I posted about my current situation, that post blew up more than things that I had been doing for years.
Right.
That post where I was vulnerable, honest, real, and just letting people know what it was that I was going to do it really made a complete difference. And I also stated in that, hey, look, I've gone through this, but just like you may be going through things, but what I realized, I did it before and I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. Love that. Dr. Clara, hello to you. I see you over there on Facebook. Glad you could be able to join us as well. So, and that you just brought up the other point. I tell people all the time, the key to my real success in what I do is that I do things with the audience in mind. What has that been like for you to change the mindset of this is not about me, it's about those who I can serve?
I'm still learning that, but I'm light years ahead of where I used to be. Even when I look at and consider the words that I use in post that I post, looking at it, okay, how is this actually serving anyone? Or am I just, for lack of a better term, bragging about something? Yeah. What is it that I do, whether it's creating a promo video or AI stuff, or even being on the Earl Hall Show, the person that is reading that post, why should they bother? Why should they bother? And I think that's the part that most people miss. And coming up the way that I've came up in business and being a master salesperson, and I say that totally seriously, the things that I've learned in there are totally the opposite in many cases of what we actually ought to be doing. And I bring those to the things that I put in my promo videos and stuff like that. What is the end user? What is that person watching that promo video for my client? What is in it for them? And how does it make them or cause them to want to do that CTA, that call to action? So being mindful about that audience and knowing that they're looking for something for them. They're not looking for something for you. That's important.
Right. Such a great point. You mentioned a few of the things you do, what you're doing with AI right now. You mentioned the promo videos. You mentioned the Earl Hall Show. Now, Earl, when it's been great watching Earl over the years, because Earl has had several shows. He doesn't always remember them all. That's why people like me, are great to have around because I will
Uh-huh.
remind you of this, of those shows. But I love the fact that Earl has gone from doing these talking head type shows where he's the authority and it's just him and not a guest to now the Earl Hall show where he is able to interview people. Earl, I want to talk about what that's been like for you because in your career, you've done a lot of media, you've done a lot of radio, you've done a lot of podcasting. How is the Earl Hall show different and what has that been like for you to experience?
Inside of the Earl Hall show, and what makes it different from like what I do inside of Earl Hall Studio with what you were talking about with the talking head videos and things like that. Those talking head videos have traditionally in the past been all about me, bragging about me, talking about me. The Earl Hall show, the focus is on that person that I'm interviewing. It is the thing that I'm completely mindful of. This is about the interest that people will have in the person that I'm interviewing. That's the benefit to the interviewee. And it's also the benefit to the audience that's watching to get the information on the interviewee. So I'm able to kind of take my mind off of me and just focus in on them. And interviewing someone is what I consider to be an art in many cases.
Right.
I may have scripted questions that I might want to ask, but it's also active listening to just say, what is this person really saying, and dive a little bit deeper into those types of things that they might be thinking or wondering about and things like that. And sometimes I feel like if I have a question, somebody else has the same question that's watching.
Right. One of the people you have had the pleasure of interviewing is on with us, Dr. Vilma. Hello to you.
Dr. V.
Good to see you as well. And I think that is a great thing. And Earl is an amazing interviewer. And I think, is the key is exactly what you just said.
Mhm.
Making sure the focus is where it needs to be, and that's on the guest. But I want to talk about something else you mentioned, and that is that extraordinary lack of no, you said extraordinary patience, but it's actually lack of patience.
Yes,
But
yes,
the
yes, yes,
lack
yes,
of
yes.
patience that you that you have, how have you been able to temper that with your desire to win? Because you said something, you said you've done it before, you've done it again. Where is where's the idea of grace in that process of doing it again? Where is that right now for you as you kind of begin this year?
Well, there's one thing in particular that makes it a lot easier, and that's because I do have a full-time job. I don't have the time to just sit in front of my computer, laptop, cell phone, and just wonder and just try and figure something out that I haven't already planned to figure out. And
Gotcha.
so that has caused my patience to be better on the outside. Now, internally, I still want it today.
Gotcha.
That's being today. I still want it today,
Mhm.
but I'm able to, because of all the activities that I have to do, the full-time job, the family, wife, the
Right.
kids, and then also, you know, doing these interviews and things like that. It's like, okay, I've got stuff to do.
Right.
I don't have downtime to think about what I haven't done
Right.
or even maybe what I potentially want to do, except for when I have those active planning sessions with myself. Okay, what's next quarter going to look like, and things like that. So it's a dichotomy of things there because I still don't have a lot of patience, but I don't have a choice but to have patience at this
Got it.
point.
I want to talk about the audience in this next part because as we are, we're in it now. 2025 is here.
Mhm.
We're almost halfway through the month already. And there are already people who are saying, okay, this is not going to be what I said I was going to be. What has helped you, Earl, to make your actions match your words when it comes to what you want to do? And what advice do you give to our audience who may find themselves where they are today, not where they plan on being, but what advice would you give them about keep moving forward?
Well, it does take discipline to do it. But also I think one of the key factors for me is that I have a group of people like Dr. V, like you, like Dr. Taz, like Melissa, and we're in this group, and whether we know it or not, we hold each other accountable. And that makes a big difference when it comes to, okay, I said I was going to do this. Everybody knows I said I was going to do this.
Yeah.
And it's very clear when you're not. Wait a minute, Earl didn't post today. What's going on with Earl? Melissa hasn't, posted in 2 days, or Dr. Taz hasn't posted since last week. Not that any of them do that, but I'm just making an example here.
Yeah.
But it's like, we know we'll be noticed by the people that are there to encourage us, and it helps to hold us accountable. And then plus we have you there as well, telling us what to do. In the
You mean encouraging you. Encouraging you.
Which all of that is great. To be able to have that. And I know not everyone has that. And
Right.
we've seen things over the years, people talk about having accountability groups and all of that kind of stuff. And maybe some work, maybe some don't. But some way, shape, or form, you have to hold yourself accountable for what you say you're going to do, because people see it. They see it online. Dr. V.
Because I have such love and respect for you, to that comment. But I love that, Earl. And I think here's the other thing. Here's the truth that no one wants to say, but I don't have a problem saying it. It is so easy for us to notice what other people are not doing. It is not as easy for us to admit what we're not doing.
Yes.
And that is one of the most frustrating things for me, when other people can see what other people are not doing when it comes to pursuing their goals, their dreams, and but they're not holding themselves to that same level of accountability. So I totally agree with you that we need to do that for ourselves, but it's great also to have people around us to do it. The Earl Hall Show, though, I mean, I got a chance. Let our audience know. I taped the segment with Earl. It was a great interview. Can't wait for you guys to see it. For those who are just finding out about the Earl Hall Show, talk to them about what it is, but also let them know how they can be a guest.
Well, the Earl Hall Show is all about going a little bit deeper into the entrepreneurs, the artists, the authors that I interview. Yes, they have a book. Yes, they have a product or service, but who is this person, and how is it that they actually think about the business world, about their life, and how has their life influenced what it is that they're doing in business right now? So it's very directed to make sure that the person that I'm interviewing on some level is known more than they've been known before.
Yeah.
That's the goal that I want to bring out of the Earl Hall Show. Not just about the products and services, but who is this person and why are they doing what it is that they're doing? I mean, the show is on my YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com/Earl Hall Studio that you can find it there. I have a whole playlist just for the Earl Hall Show. Actively, if you'd like to be a guest, just shoot me a DM and we can work all of that out as well.
Gotcha. Moses says on Instagram, self-accountability is one of the most important keys to success. That is so true. And I'm a firm believer in that, Moses. I think we have to hold ourselves accountable. And I think having people around us that we know have our best interests at heart, they can also help us to be accountable, I think is also so important. So Earl, with the books, I know you're sharing the messages of those. Last thing I do want to talk to you about are your services. You mentioned, of course, doing video promos and also AI images. How can those be used for our audience out there to help them to share their messages, but also to let other people know what they're doing and to promote their own brands?
Well, I think it's important, and I've come up with this tagline, which is basically look better, influence better, and promote better. The look better is about the AI images that can be used on your profiles across all the social media platforms, because those profile pics do matter. A lot of AI images don't look like the person that I've seen, but my focus is really making sure that it looks like it is the person, right? But it's just in a professional format. When it comes to influence better, it's all about the Earl Hall Show, right? It's like, you want to have an influence and an impact, you need to come onto the Earl Hall Show so that we can get your message out in a longer format than just a 30-second or a 60-second promo video. And then the part about promote better is all about the 30-second, 60-second, or up to 2-minute promo video or sizzle reel that is showing and showcasing the product or service it is that you want to highlight. And it's like that look better, influence better, promote better is the thing that I'm looking at now to say, this is what I do. And then under all of those things, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to do that.
Yeah. And you guys are in for a treat because Earl is announcing on this platform, you guys can get all three of those elements. A placement on the Earl Hall Show. You can get a video promo and get you 3 AI images for only $97. $97. It's a great package for you guys to be able to get. A great way to be able to kick off the year is you being able to promote yourself, get the word out there about. And what I love about Earl too is he doesn't just interview authors. I think a lot of times people think because they see authors on a program is like now we're talking about Earl's books, but there's so much more that Earl does. He's a media personality. He does graphics. He does all these other things. So it's a great way to be able to talk about those things. Hey, Melissa, good to see you. Melissa, Earl was just talking about his new deal. Dr. Bam says, what awesome deal. It is an awesome deal. So you get an interview with the Earl Hall Show. You're able to get your 30-second promo video with Earl, as well as 3 AI images for only $97. A great deal. Earl, I'm so excited that you're announcing that on our program. Moses said he's sold. I appreciate that. Thank you for giving us an exclusive, Earl. Appreciate that. Earl, what advice would you give to the audience about what?
I'm sorry. I'll tell you later, and I'll tell the group later about what just happened.
I must have missed something. I don't.
No, you didn't.
That's a great deal too. But no, it really is a great deal, guys. And Earl will be posting the graphic for that today, so you guys can look for that on social. But again, I mean, a great way to be able to jumpstart your year. Again, that interview with Earl Hall Show, Building Authority, you can be able to share that, of course, through social. Again, his video promo he'll be doing for you guys, 30 seconds, and then 3 AI images to be able to use across your socials. Well, I've got mine done. You can see those on my social. So I really appreciate that. Earl, I do want to, as we're kind of wrapping up here, I do want to talk about your advice for our audience. Here we are now in almost the middle, if you can believe that, of January. What advice would you give them about making this their year? They may have said it in 2024. What advice would you give them about actually doing it?
Well, there's 2 things that can happen. You can either let life happen to you, or you can make it happen yourself. Yeah. And I believe in the latter, making it happen yourself, because we wake up, we all have the same amount of hours in the day. But it's not about those hours, but it's about what you actually do with those hours that are there.
Yeah.
We need to actively be involved with what is today going to be like for me and make that happen. Otherwise, you're just allowing life to happen to you and you're not taking charge of it.
Yeah. Such a great point. Moses, just send Earl a DM. He'll definitely take care of it for you. He's very active on the DM. So even
Instagram, Facebook,
yeah,
LinkedIn.
So you guys just send him a DM, and that's again across all the platforms there. Like I said, you can look for the graphic from Earl. He's going to be posting that as well. Earl, such a great conversation with you, man. It's always.
Thank you.
I love hearing new things. I mean, Earl announcing a new deal, being able to talk to us. Dr. Velma says she wants to know, but Dr. Velma, I'm sure whatever it is, I don't know what
he just told me the deal that I was putting out. That's what happened, Dr.
Earl
and Melissa, y'all know. But see, this is
so Earl, let our audience know, because I feel like something's happening here that I'm not aware of. But let our audience know how to stay connected with you, man.
Absolutely. Across all the social media platforms, it's at Earl Hall Studio. Across all the social platforms. Cyrus, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm totally serious. This means so much to me. I appreciate you, my brother.
Now you have people trolling me in my comments. You know what, Dr. Velma? Oh, thank you, Moses. Moses says I'm a great announcer. I'm going to pin your comment over there on Instagram. Thank you. I appreciate that, Moses. Because these other people, I don't know. I appreciate you guys being with us. And we thank you again, our audience, tuning in on Amazon Live. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, make sure you guys hit that follow button either here in this corner or down below. Again, you can pick up Earl's books there as well. Again, align with your purpose. You can see over here, I have it highlighted, as well as Mind Your Business. Both of them are great books. Earl, my
Thank
friend,
you.
really appreciate it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.